Good evening, everybody. I'm calling this meeting to order at 5 o'clock. So can we have the roll call?
Thank you. Cindy Lopez,
Aye.
Neil Patel,
Aye, Captain.
Elva Ariano.
Aye.
Thank you. Joining us online is Trustee Sarah Turner. Trustee Turner has requested to join this meeting virtually, and she'll share more information with the trustees present.
Hi, thank you to the board. I'm here with a child who had oral surgery today. So I did not want to leave him with a babysitter. So I'm just asking if I can join remotely. And we did not know until yesterday that this was going to be happening today.
So her request falls under caregiver need. So I need to have a vote of approval for Ms. Turner to join the meeting and participate virtually.
We need a roll call.
A roll call vote. Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Ariano?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Turner will be participating in this meeting virtually.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. 1.2, the Pledge of Allegiance. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, everybody begin.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice.
Okay, so the next 1.3 is the approval of the board agenda. I'll need a motion to approve.
I motion.
Second.
Any roll call?
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Ms. Turner? Motion passes 4-0.
Hey, yeah, thank you. The next is 2.1, and it's closed session items. And we have 2.1, Public Employee Appointment, Employment, Government Code 54957. We have 2.2, Potential Litigation, Government Code Section 54956.8 and 54956.9. 2.3, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, Government Code Section 54957. 2.4, Conference with Labor Negotiators, Government Code Section 54957.6. Do we have any public comment for the closed session items?
No, we do not.
Okay, so we're going to be adjourning to closed session. And can I have a motion to go into closed session?
I motion.
Second.
And then roll call.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you. We will be back for open session in about hopefully 6 o'clock. But anyways, we'll see you later. Thank you, everybody. We're reconvening back into open session and at 6:01. And there was nothing to report out. So great. So now we're at 5.1, approval of the second agenda. Can I have a motion? It's 5.2, I guess, approve consent agenda items 5.2 through 5.4.
I motion.
Second.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay. And okay, so it's now 6.1, the Santa Rita Teachers Association, SRTA. Are they in?
Yes, we have Ms.
here?
Varela here.
That's okay. Great.
Do we have any?
I could probably go on to 6.2 and then wait
Can?
to,
Yeah, we
yeah,
can
let's
do
do that. Okay, and then,
Okay.
okay.
We need a
Microphone.
Good evening, everybody. I am Heather Varela, the SRTA president. I'm just going to read what Ashley had written up. Oh, she's here. Okay, well, come on up. This is Ashley Tripp, our head negotiator.
I have it printed.
Okay, great.
Okay, so the union hereby notifies the district that we are opening the collective bargaining agreement in accordance with Article 13 of the CBA during and reopening of negotiations. The association respectfully demands to bargain the following articles within the contract and hereby sunshines the following proposals. Sorry, really out of breath. Article 7, compensation. So because our students deserve a consistent and stable educational staff, it is imperative that our compensation enables the district to attract and retain highly qualified educators. And Article 8, healthcare and welfare benefits. Our students deserve a healthy workforce that can trust their healthcare is taken care of. In the interest of our students, parents, and the community, we look forward to a mutually productive and positive negotiations process with the district, and students are at the center of everything we do. So, thank you. That is it. Okay.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we look forward to your response.
Thank you very much. 6.2, CSCA. Is anybody present?
No, and I have no comment tonight.
No comment?
From CSA.
Okay. 6.3, Santa Rita Union School District Book Club Spotlight.
So I have two representatives here from our book club. Luckily, our book club members, many of them are doing amazing things this evening. One's doing a literacy program at the prison, which we don't want to pull from that. Two other are taking advanced degree classes. So we meet for our book club, but these amazing two ladies are here to start to share with us as well. So do I have a clicker? Is it this one? Okay, go ahead. Sorry. So just really quickly, what our objectives are with our book club. Such a weird spot. So we really wanted to look at how we can empower our employees to kind of create the equity that we asked for. So we wrote goal 4, and then we said, this is what we want to do. And then we wanted to provide a space and the tools to make sure that everybody had access to do what we set forth. And so that's how our book club was built. All staff are invited to attend. I send out the messaging for it. We let staff know that even if they haven't had a chance to read the book, we invite them to come in and hear the discussion. And even if they don't join us in the discussion, to take advantage of the book itself. We've provided 2 copies of each book at our school sites. And then the first 15 people who signed up for book club got a free copy. So here's what we've read. So we've read Everyday Anti-Racism, The Undocumented Americans, We Want to Do More Than Just Survive, and What Happened to You. And then coming up, we have So You Want to Talk About Race, It Gets Better, and then our students at JGMS with Ms. Delvina Torres are working on Stamped. So you did every, did you ever? No, just, you did Everyday Anti-Racism too. Okay, so I'll kind of, what I'm going to do is just give you an overview. I'm not going to read all of this to you. We'll post the PowerPoint as well so that if people are interested. But we started out this summer with Everyday Anti-Racism. And really what the benefit of this book was is that it's short collection of knowledge. And then at the end of each of those gives the tools that can be implemented as soon as you kind of go back into the classroom. And so it's not just the learning that's there, but it's also applicable in our spaces that our staff that participate in the book club can implement those strategies. And some of the takeaways, go ahead, you can go to the next one. So what we learned, go ahead, Jen. Introduce
Do I read them all? Hi, I am Shannon Casapilla, the music teacher at John Gutierrez Middle School. My reading, middle school presentation quality. Rejecting the false notions of human difference was, oh gosh, I don't want to expand. I'll talk too much and ramble, but acknowledging lived experiences shaped along racial lines, learning from diverse knowledge and experiences, challenging systems of racial inequality. You cannot acknowledge or change that which you deny or choose not to see. As educators, we need to educate ourselves about the history of African Americans and the Black experience. We also need to allow students of color the opportunity to be cocooned in contexts that allow them to analyze safe environments with others having that same experience, thus developing a sense of inspiration, perseverance, and belonging. Anti-racism requires a conscious decision to pursue it as a goal and a way of being. Oh, do I keep going?
I'll do this.
Okay.
We didn't have time to practice because it was a busy day. So our next book was Undocumented Americans. Again, I mean, I'm going to say this for all of them. Highly recommend. That's why we chose them. But in Undocumented Americans, the author really talks about her perspective as a DACA recipient and all those who aren't, and really taking a look underneath that title that's there. So I'll let you read that while I have Sophia step up.
Summers to talk. Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Sophia Antuna, Vice Principal at Gavilan View. This was such a great book, and I just want to also add, so many of our families in our community, I think, are represented in the story, her personal story, and then I also, want to add that for me personally, it touches with my personal story as well. So it was a really resonated on many levels. So what we learned from this book and in our discussion was just to talk about this silent and often taboo, experience of an undocumented student. I mean, I know, like I said, personally, it was, you don't ever tell anybody, right? So it's something that's silenced and you're almost ashamed to share unless you're really safe with someone. The stressors and the trauma of the undocumented immigrant experience. Her stories that she shares, not only hers, but of all the people that she visits, just are really eye-opening to it's the mental health, but it's the physical, it's the family impact, it's the generational, it's on so many levels. And then, of course, trying to see the positive of the resiliency, because too often we see it as coming from a deficit point of view, right? Oh, they don't have something, but their stories and their experience, they have strengths, and resiliency is one of those. For us as educators, we talked about being, how this impacts our culturally responsive teaching and all of our support systems across all of our tiers of support. And then, of course, we just really want to appreciate and talk about what we can do to raise awareness and educational access and advocacy for undocumented immigrant students and their families. How do we give space for these experiences to be heard and validated within our school spaces? And how crucial it is for students to share their experiences. And then, of course, the amplification of the model immigrant as the standard, because not every immigrant story is the same. And not every undocumented immigrant is necessarily from, south of the United States. So just giving those different perspectives. Great recommended.
The next book we read was We Want to Do More Than Just Survive. And again, you'll really see that in this book, Bettina Love really focuses on what we need to do for our Black students specifically within this space to make sustainable changes within our system through our initiatives and movements that we make in education. So what we learned about is really the need to look at the intersectionality of racial justice, meaning that a student is not just Black, but a student is also a female, and a student may also be a low socioeconomic student. And so those intersectionalities of each of those areas and how important it is that we look at a student as a whole. She talked in the book as well about the disproportionality within the education system, especially within this intersectionality, the dangers of character education, which is a really important part of this book, the dangers around character education and this idea that all you have to do is have grit and you can get there, right? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And that we know that the system was set up without the ability for everybody to start in the same place. So for the ability to say, just catch up, just work harder, doesn't work, right? It's not fair, it's not equitable. She talks about, similar to what you heard Sophia talk about, or I think it was in the first one, about cocooning, creating that safe space. Dr. Love talks about creating this home space where students can feel safe and protected and known and understood. And then she talks about freedom dreaming and creating a space for our Black students where they have the opportunity to imagine a world that is just, right? And giving them a space to envision what could be. We just finished last week before, What Happened to You? And What Happened to You is a collaboration between the lady herself, Oprah Winfrey, and Dr. Bruce Perry. And if you want to read anything around child psychology, Dr. Perry is your go-to. He's amazing in himself. And so what Happened to You really focuses on is Oprah shares kind of through her vulnerability of the trauma that she faced herself. And then it really looks at how we understand behaviors, actions of others through a trauma lens. And it's really changing the paradigm shift to what's wrong with you, to what happened to you, to better understand and build empathy. So what we learned is the impact of trauma on a child's worldview and their behavior. We learned kind of the manner and order which the brain receives information and processes that. We learned about the importance of asking what happened to understand, especially when we're talking about behaviors. We learned that to break the habit of blaming students and parents for misunderstood behavior, instead we need to work towards healing and success. We learned about the connection between psychological and biological well-being, right? That if we're psychologically unhealthy, we're often physically unhealthy, and that we need to create that sense of well-being as a whole for our students to thrive. That everything is rooted in relationships, and relationships are the foundation of well-being. We learned about the importance of cultivating relationships with our students, understanding our own relationship with trauma and how that may project onto others. We spent a lot of time in our book club talking about our own stuff and how we bring that to the classroom for the good and for the bad, and how we handle it, and impacts on how we approach our students as a whole. Please, yes, I'm going to turn it over to you.
So I just want to say, out of all the books that I've read so far, not that the others are obviously everything equally important. When I read that trauma book, 5 minutes into every time I was reading it or listening to it, I was in tears and understanding a little bit more about myself and how the way I react, the way I speak, the way I sound, the way I look, the way I walk, the way I hand, my gestures, everything could be affecting my students in my class. And we often jump to conclusions about why kids are acting the way they're acting. And sometimes we take it personal, like, why do you treat me like this? And how come this is happening? And I just really wanted to emphasize that this was so helpful in helping me understand myself a little bit better as a mother, as a teacher, as a daughter. I understand my mom more and how generational trauma is passed down, whether we realize it or not. We are changed at a genetic level, and it's called epigenetics. Anyways, I could go on for a really long time. I just really wanted to emphasize this one is so good if you're really just, all of them are so good, but this one is really good at identifying how you can heal yourself as well so that you can be better for others.
I wanted to just kind of echo that. She said it so well. I was like, maybe I won't say anything, but I do want to add, part of the trauma also they discuss PTSD, right? Post-traumatic stress disorder. And I think that it's a very good read for what we're experiencing currently, right? We were just at our staff meeting talking about, yeah, we might be 2 years away from out of distance learning and, pandemic, but we're still in a recovery stage. And there is right now, we do not know the extent of all that trauma and all the PTSD that is being experienced. I mean, we're seeing the manifestations of those things day to day. But I just want to say it was also really, really eye-opening to read about that. And the fact that it ended with this hopeful note of, well, then how do we heal? How do we move on? How do we build that resiliency, knowing all of this information?
I agree. Dr. Perry's amazing. Oprah's good too. But so upcoming, as I share with you, our next book is So You Want to Talk About Race. You can kind of see it's really talking about how we have those transformative conversations that really focus on every aspect of racism in American life. Can do the next one. And then It Gets Better, coming out and overcoming bullying and creating a life worth living. It's based off originally, the two authors had a YouTube channel where kids could kind of upload stories and then people would respond to that. And they started to see so much need from young LGBTQ students and teens that they collected essays and stories from famous folks, everyday people, other authors, actors, and they put them together into this book. And it's really a story of hope so that a student who's maybe struggling in this moment can turn to these stories and know, this one makes me emotional, I don't know why, and know at the end when you read them, you'll hear it, know at the end, it is hard. And they say throughout, I'm not promising you it's not going to be hard for a while, but it does get better. And look at these examples, right? It does get better. And so I'm really excited to share this book at our book club and help our staff as we work to be more inclusive as well and support our LGBTQ plus students. And then the Student Book Club, they're going to continue with Stamped. We have also books available for GVMS to start a book club there as well. They can do it at lunch or after school program as well. And Stamped, again, really there's an adult version that we'll be looking at next year. That's the end. And so we invite all of you to join us for our last two book clubs. We'll be talking soon. I'll be sending out for recommendations for our 23-24 book club series so that we can get those ordered. And again, we'll do the same process. The first 15 individuals will get a free book. And we encourage all staff, even if they can't attend, to please take advantage of the books that are here. Thank you. And thank you to this team.
Thank you for that. I do want to just say that I did read We Wanted to Do More Than Survive. And I also read What Happened to You. I read that one. Instead of saying to a child or anybody, what's wrong with you, you say, what happened to you? And if anybody is interested, Sundays with Oprah, this past Sunday, she had Bruce Perry on there, and it was really, really good. It was, yes, it was really good. So, I mean, and I'm sorry I didn't attend Wednesday. I had vertigo, and it was impossible. But anyway, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to reading the other ones too. So, and quick question. And how many people are on the book club that tune in?
Yeah, it varies. It could be 12 to 15 to 3 to 4. It varies kind of depending on was there people come in at different points in it. Shannon's been there every time. Sophia's been there a lot of times. It's kind of a core group that's there. But it varies. And I think that I'm talking without the microphones. I think that it also varies. I think because the book clubs know, it takes a lot of vulnerability to go on with your colleagues and have the discussions. And so some of the topics I think, people feel more comfortable with. So we had more for What Happened to You because people feel really comfortable in education talking about trauma. And we had a lot less in some of our other book clubs, right? So I think it's about, getting comfort around things, and I think it will increase. Again, lots of people have shared with me that they're reading the books even if they're not showing up, which is the real purpose.
Yes, and because I really like the books and the subjects on there, I'm hoping more teachers. Now, did I hear you say that they were going to start one at JG?
So at JG, Delvina Torres is doing a book club for students, a voluntary book club for students with that book stamped
Okay.
with the students. Yeah.
And I'm hoping the principals and vice principals are sharing that with their teachers, because I'm reflecting on my own self when I was teaching. And I'm like, wow, if I only would have had this book when I was teaching, I mean, it would have helped me understand. And like somebody said, family. Boy, that's a good one. But anyways, thank you so much.
And we've been trying to choose books that are available both on Audible and in print because we know how hard it is. I've shared with them that my strategy is I always buy the book and I do the Audible. So in the car, I listen in Audible and then I mark where I stop and then I read at night. So we're trying to put books like that because we know that there's a time crunch. So
Good, thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else have anything to say?
Well, I just want to say thank you, ladies, and the rest of the book club that's not here. It's nice to know as a parent that you guys actually read these books and that you guys could, take this back and, like how Miss Casapia said, reflect and be like, hey, the way I'm reacting to this might have a reaction to my students. It's awesome to hear all that. So thank you, ladies, for that. And those books seem really interested. So Summer, can you send me a list? I would love to.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. 6.4 is Superintendent's Cabinet. Let's see. Victor?
Good evening, everybody. I don't have much to add to what I've mentioned in my Friday letter. However, I did receive today our hazardous material inventory report from our insurance group, Keenan and Associates. I will be reviewing it tonight and tomorrow, and we'll be either fixing the things that they've kind of identified as hazardous or whatever, and we'll make amends. The other thing is that we did start scheduling our regional fire district for inspections of Gavilan View, La Jolla, and John Gutierrez. So that's basically all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Victor. Anybody have any? Okay. On to Chuck. It's your turn.
All right, good evening. Just one thing from our department today. We had a visit from Salinas Valley Recycles and Republic Services at our kitchen at GB today. And I don't know if you remember, but in last year, I believe we started a program for food waste recycling, a mandatory program. GB was the last one on our list and could not do it last year because of the construction, of course. So the purpose of this visit today was just to get our kitchen staff on board and trained on what can go in the bins and what cannot go in the bins. At the middle school level, it's more of a back of the house, a kitchen recycling. So any of their food prep and so forth. I was there as well. Staff seemed very receptive and asked a lot of questions. Again, they discussed what can or can't go in the bins, types of can liners that Victor orders for us that they'd have to be used, and different signage that they can use to help basically spread the word of what the program entails. Again, it was the last site in our district, and with it being completed, Salinas Valley Recycles shared with us that we're the first district in the area that they service. They didn't say exactly what area that was, and I apologize, I forgot to ask. But we're the first district in their area to be 100% in compliance with the law. So thanks to everybody, involved in getting that done, from the site administration, our kitchen staff, custodians, Victor, of course, and Salinas Valley Recycles and Republic Services. So we're all done with that.
Thank you. Thank you, Chuck, for that. And is there any other comments from the board? Okay, thank you. Next up, Rosa.
Good evening. So I've been really busy working on budget development, and these last days we've been working with Becky and the HR department on vacancies and position control to make sure we got the most up-to-date information for this budget, which is gonna be presented to you on the next board meeting. And it's just kind of like a long process. So I'll have more information on the following board meeting. Thank you.
Rosa. Next up, Dr. Summer Prather-Smith.
Good evening. I first just want to share with you, I'm going to give you a flyer if you're interested. So the on April 19th, there's going to be a school safety symposium at the Monterey Conference Center. The first day is the school safety symposium, and that's free to attend. On the 20th and 21st, it's going to be the AIM conference, which is going to be youth mental health. I'll be presenting on both days. I'll be presenting at the school safety symposium around parent engagement, the importance of parent engagement and school safety, and then presenting at the AIM mental health conference around building community impact as a preventative measure to bullying. We're also going to be taking our counselors and social workers and one site administrator from each site. But I wanted to give you the flyer in case you're interested in attending that event that day. Also, we were able to coordinate with Salinas Union High School District yesterday for our site visits with restorative practices. Again, Dominique is doing great. He's healing, but he won't be back for this training or this site visit. So it'll be Mr. Jonathan Walker, who we met when we did our school visits there. He'll be with us on March 15th and 16th. On March 15th, he's going to visit JGMS and New Republic. And then he'll be doing a workshop in the afternoon where all staff were invited. We have space for 30, where he'll have both a short presentation, and then he's going to have open question and answer for anything anybody may have questions around restorative practice implementation. And both Salinas Union High School District staff and our staff are invited to attend that. And then on the 16th, he'll be visiting Hardin Middle School, and we've invited one of our site administrators from each middle school to also join in that, just to be part of that collaboration across districts. So he'll be here for those 2 days, and then we'll have a debrief. After each site, he'll have a debrief with the administration. And then my last piece is we got news today that our presentation was also accepted for the national conference. If you remember last year, we took one of our DLAC parents to the national conference in Texas. This year it's in Albuquerque. I'm like, where is it? Albuquerque, New Mexico. So with the acceptance of the presentation, Blanca's working on recruiting 1 or 2 of our DLAC parents, and we'll take them with us to go to that conference at the end of April, beginning of May.
Nice. Very good. Okay. Thank you, Summer. Anybody have any questions? Okay. On to Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Becky Moore.
Okay, I forgot Melanie.
Oh, is it Melanie?
Yeah, let me go back.
Oh, sorry, Melanie.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
I don't mind. I'll just keep it brief. Our special education teachers were able to attend a conference up in Sacramento 2 weeks ago. We had the opportunity to send 10 of our special education teachers, and they had an amazing time, and they actually came back and put together a PowerPoint and shared out with colleagues. And I was doing walkthroughs earlier in the week and actually saw some of the pieces that they learned come back into the classroom. So just really excited about that. We had an all-sped training actually today where we really focused on those transition IEP meetings. So all the meetings coming up in the spring where we'll kind of bridge between our SDC preschool and outside services and our elementaries to middle, and then partner with our high school district to help transition our kids on IEPs from middle school to high school. So lots of meetings, but really purposeful meetings. And so really working with our teams on how to make those really meaningful, engage families, how to really collaborate with the 2 teams. And we also talked about like the logistical pieces of hitting students in Cyrus and assigning them to the next case manager. So we don't have as heavy a lift over the summer trying to reorganize all that. Also really focused on service logs. So there's been a lot of legislation, legal change around how we're documenting our special education services. So there has been added things in our SRUSD, our IEP system. So I was able to really dive into that, did a lot of modeling today with what this looks like and the changes, and really just how important it is, right? Because we are providing all these high quality services and we really want to be able to document it and have that all right as we're monitoring progress to show all the hard work that we're doing. So it's a work in progress, but we've definitely started working on that and excited to continue that work. And then last but not least, I am working to create a special ed leadership team. So I posed it to principals and I also announced it at our all-SPED meeting. So really looking at representation across all of our school sites and also looking for various special ed jobs, right? So we want to have speech pathologists involved, OTs, our resource specialists, as well as our special day class teachers, and also administrators, right? Where we can come to the table and really look at our systems and better align, look at that tier 3 literacy piece, and really just do some planning and some goal setting for our special ed team. So excited about that work too. So I'll bring more work later. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Very good. I'm excited to see what that leadership team, how it develops. So that'd be nice. Anybody else? No? Yes? Okay. Now we go to I'm so sorry that I skipped you. Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Becky Moore.
Thank you. I actually was not supposed to be here today. I was supposed to be at a conference with two of my teammates, but with the amount of work I had, I didn't feel comfortable going, so I was able to cancel my registration at the last minute. So our HR liaison, Charlotte, and the HR analyst, Daisy, are in beautiful Sonoma at the CalGov HR conference, where they have access to some great sessions: diversity, equity, inclusion strategies in recruitment and hiring, leaves management, COVID-19 updates now that we are no longer in a state of emergency. So I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to share when they get back next week. Celeste, our HR specialist for COVID-19, and I are going to attend a webinar, not quite as exciting, next week from Cal OSHA about the COVID-19 procedural updates that are in effect now that the state of emergency has ended. And other than that, looking forward to continuing work with CSEA. We have a few items, a couple of new job descriptions that we're working on, and looking forward to meeting with our SRTA site reps and Melissa on Monday for our monthly check-in meeting. Thank you.
Great. Good. Thank you. Okay, on to 6.5, Board and Superintendent reports. And Cindy?
I really don't have much this meeting except Monday. I did come out to see their first game, soccer girls here, GV, with I think it was El Salsal. They did awesome in the first half, and Salsal is known to be great soccer players. And our girls, a lot of them were first timers, so they put up a fight that first half. Second half, they scored on us, but it was awesome to see parents out there and the kids, and kids were cheering on the girls, and so that was really nice to experience that. So that's about it.
Thank you. Neil?
Just two things. First was, I was over at Rancho San Juan and at the various tournaments and stuff at the end, and the number of former students of ours that went on and achieved so much in high school and are graduating, it's just, it's just phenomenal, the connection. So I just want to, thank the staff and everyone else, for what they continue to do. But when you see it like that, and you see these people graduating and, ready to graduate, and they're getting championships, league championships on the way out, it's like life memorable things. And we had to step in that, so The second thing is I'm really concerned about, the upcoming storms and stuff, especially with traffic, especially at the sites with the rain. I just hope everyone's, safe out there. Please be helpful, be a safe, safety minded, and that's about it. But we have a lot of storms coming, and to me, that traffic safety issue is just incredible. I see that every school site, but when it rains, it's just crazy. So hopefully, we can get through it. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil. Sarah.
I just want to say thank you to all the people that put the work in for the board meeting that we had on Saturday. I really appreciated it. And Victor, I wanted to ask if you could just continue to let me know when you're going out to the sites to talk about the work that's going to be done so that I can tag along and listen to, people's concerns or questions. I would really, really appreciate that, because that was a verbal pledge that I made to all the sites that I'd come back around in the spring and hear again how things were going. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Sarah. And I went to a special board meeting also, as Sarah mentioned, and it was very productive. And thank you to all who, got that together. I went to McKinnon's family night. It was 1 hour, and I can't remember the date. It was last week. And I went with my grandkids, and boy, there was a lot of parents there. So many that I was very concerned with the capacity. But I understand that they were going to do it outside at one point, but then they went inside. But it was good. My grandkids loved it. I was just a little bit, it didn't faze them. And then also is it called the School Climate Collaboration? So Summer facilitated that, and that was really productive, I thought, because we were able to be in different tables and we're able to interact with other people to see how, they shared with us their scenarios that Summer had given to us. So, I mean, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I hope everybody there that participated goes back to their school and shares everything that we participated in. So thank you for that. Okay, so with that, 7.1, is there any public comment on non-agenda items? Oh, I'm sorry. God, I'm missing everybody.
Okay, I'll keep mine brief. So at our next board meeting, we'll do our, I believe it's our Q3 State of the District report. So that'll be upcoming. And we'll do it a little differently this time so that each director will report out some of their happenings for third quarter. And I just sent out our invite to our first, because our sites have all had their first site safety committee meeting. So waiting on that so we could get our representatives for our district safety committee meeting. So we will have representatives from certificated, classified, even the secretary, administrator, parent. We'll have a community agency, like emergency services, or a Mike Kimball representative with us. And we will have that. So our first agenda is kind of what the goal is and what we're looking at, kind of looking at the things that need to be in a school site safety plan that's required by the state, because in the future, this committee would look at those as well before they would be recommended to the board for approval. So kind of going through what all of those are, some of the upcoming things that we're looking at doing. Krisha and Kerpool and Hussam Ibrahim are looking at our emergency radio systems. And so they've had someone come in. We're actually going to do like an audit of our system, because to make sure that we are keeping all of those up to date, that they are talking to each other. So there's some legacy analog devices that are out there. So they're going and identifying where those are because those are way out of date, and the new fancy digital ones don't speak to analog. But also looking at some of the base stations that are at our school sites and our district office don't have quite the capacity that we would ideally want them to be able to channel into each other and speak to each other in the event of a large scale emergency. Like if there were an earthquake, you would want to be able to communicate site to site as well. And replacing some of those base stations. Rosa and Donna work to identify some funding with Debbie Campbell that we can set aside for when that comes up. Because it will probably be a big expense, because our goal would also be to make sure that all of our staff members have that, and to eliminate the need for some of our staff members. They've been carrying 2 radios, and so what that would look like and what that solution would be in place, so that we're building sort of a comprehensive system where the devices are talking to each other, and that we have a scheduled plan to phase out anything that isn't working or will be obsolete, a planned obsolescence and replacement of devices that will feed into that system appropriately. So that work is in their wheelhouse, and they're spending some time going through and kind of doing that audit of what we have and a needs analysis of what we need to get. And so we'll bring that back to you when it's time to get a quote and make that expense. I want to say happy School Social Worker Week. It is the week of the School Social Worker, and want to thank our school social workers for onboarding and bringing in their skill set to our district. And it's really addressing a huge need that we had, and really appreciate having them on our team. Also want to point out, and we are coming up on a 3-year anniversary where this board had to make a very monumental decision to close our schools on March 13th, 2020. And so in reflecting on all of the changes that brought, not just for our district, but for education as a whole in this country and probably across the world, there's a lot of weight to that decision that I think you all did in an emergency, called in a meeting and made that decision along with school boards across the county, the state, and the nation within a very short number of days. So yeah, we're just a few days away from that, but that's it.
I share your concern. I think the communication ability from each side and making sure we have the technology, because with the storms, whether it be earthquake, whatever natural disaster that comes at us, I think it's paramount that we spend the funds that we have to, but make sure each side can communicate in case of a natural disaster comes, which is just, I hope it doesn't, but if the expense is there, I think we have to consider it, and, as a board, heavily invest in it. Thank you.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? I'm just joking, because I missed 2 of you, and that was uncalled for. But anyway, we'll move on to 7.1. Is there any public comment on the non-agenda items?
No, there's not.
Okay, and 7.2, any public comment on the agenda items?
There is no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Going on to 8.1, approval of the annual renewal of Central Coast Co-op Agreement for SY 23-24.
Yeah, that's our department, and just an annual renewal. Do this every year. This is the Central Coast Co-op that we're in with Santa Cruz County, Monterey County, San Benito County, and this allows us to get better pricing through the co-op. So annual renewal for approval.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call. Is that a roll call on?
Yes. Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, on to 8.2, Information Facilities Committee update. And that is
Yes,
Victor.
that's my item right there. Well, we did have our facilities committee from February. However, It was on the 23rd, so it's a little stale dated. But anyways, what we did do at this committee meeting, we went over the board approved phasing plan that you guys have approved for all the sites. We actually discussed the transition and the plans for the summer 2023 construction and what that could look like with some schematics. We discussed the Santa Rita restroom, the Gavilan View, new classroom science lab, John Gutierrez changing rooms, McKinnon shade structures, and New Republic shade structures. So with that, if you have any questions, it was kind of like an overall review of what we're doing for this year.
Okay, any questions from the board? None? Change rooms. I just have a question on change rooms. That's at John Gutierrez Middle School, right?
That is
so
correct.
Gavilan View is going to have change rooms, or do they already have them?
Their changing rooms will be part of their gymnasium project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay, thank you. 8.3 approve. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, no, that was information. 8.3 approval of contract for auditing services FY 2022-23.
That's my item, and that is just what it sounds. I know we just approved or accepted the last audit report, but we really work on almost 1 year cycle. We get a little break in April, and then in May, June, and July, we start working again with the auditors, and we close the books in September. We start working with them again November, December to get everything closed, everything up. And then January is when we bring the audit report, January or early February to the board. So it is a cycle. I know it's kind of early, but we do have to do an approval of the contract before April, and it's ongoing. We do this every year. Let me know if you have any questions.
Questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. On to 9.1, approval of Santa Rita Teachers Association Sunshine to Open Contract Negotiations for 2023-2024.
Thank you. As you heard Ashley read the sunshine letter for SRTA, they are proposing to open 2 articles. So this will be the approval of their sunshine letter to us. We are working on our sunshine letter in return, and we'll have it to them no later than March 31st.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Yeah. Yeah. 10.1, approval of Goodfellow Therapy contract for paraprofessional.
Perfect. That's me.
Melanie?
So this is a contract. We already have a Goodfellow contract for some of our occupational therapists, but this is a contract to add an additional paraprofessional. Unfortunately, we currently have 12 paraprofessionals district positions open, so it's looking to add additional support to our special day classes.
Okay, any questions?
The only thing I'll add is that's just for the remainder of this year, and you'll see that in the line item too.
Okay. Motion to approve?
I motion.
Second.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay. 10.2, approval of Solient contract for paraprofessional.
So
that the one?
perfect. Yes. So this is the same thing, but through a different contractor. So like I said, we have several openings across the district. So this is a paraprofessional to support us for the remainder of this school year, also in one of our special day classes.
Great. Motion to approve?
So motion.
Second.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel,
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Ariano,
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
13.1, approval of contract with Schoolworks Incorporated.
This is my item, but I should say it's Amy Lopez's item in partnership because we do a lot of our district transfers and district boundaries. And so in my time here, we've used a list on paper or a PDF of addresses where we try to determine which school site a family would go to when they register for the district. This is a web-based program where we're able to put in our district boundaries, and it will capture all of our residential street addresses and help identify which students according to which address should be assigned to which of our schools. This would come into play as well if we ever redraw our school boundaries to reassign or reallocate students between schools, as well as when we start building new schools and new streets and new homes come in, that those will be captured in future maps and help designate which school those students should go to with ease and accuracy.
Very good.
I just want to comment on that I had questioned Melissa, like when I read this, I was like, am I understanding this correctly? Like, how have you guys been doing this? And she said, a list. I was like, what? That is crazy. So this is awesome. And it's obviously very effective on how we're going to be able to get the ball rolling for our district here. So thank you for doing that. So with that, I say, I motion.
Second.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
And I would hope once we have this up, just to have it right on the website available to people so they can go look, because if you look online right now, just trying to use like other Salinas databases, it's not accurate.
No.
All right, motion passes 4-0.
Okay, 14.1, next regular board meeting. Is there anybody that wants something on the agenda? Okay, so
March 22nd.
second is our next regular board meeting. Yep. So now I need a motion to
So motion.
Second.
turn. Okay. It's 6:52. Yeah.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye, and thank you to everybody for accommodating my family emergency tonight. I really appreciate it.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, everybody.